Welcome back to the channel, Top Coin, coin lovers, and treasure hunters. Today, we're diving deep into the fascinating world of the 2000 Canadian 5-cent coin. This isn't just pocket change. This is a story of history, design, rarity, and surprising value that's taking the numismatic world by storm. The year 2000, the start of a new millennium. Y2K panic was everywhere. The world was changing rapidly, and in the Royal Canadian Mint, something quite interesting was happening. That year, millions of 5-cent coins were struck, and at first glance, they looked just like every other nickel we've seen in recent years. But there's much more to this humble coin than meets the eye. Let's start with the basics. The 2000 Canadian 5-cent coin is made of a multiply plated steel core with nickel and copper layers. It weighs 3.95 grams and measures 21.2 millimeters across. On the obverse side, we have the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by artist Dora de Peterihant, the very first woman to design a Canadian coinage portrait of the Queen. And on the reverse, that iconic beaver sitting atop a log, a symbol of Canada's heritage, designed all the way back in 1937 by G. E. Kruger Gray. It's a classic, and it's still used today. But here's where things get interesting. While the majority of these coins were mass-produced and are worth face value, there are a few very specific variations, and I mean rare errors, die varieties, and minting quirks, that make certain 2000 nickels highly valuable to collectors. Some have fetched unbelievable prices at auction. Let's talk about errors. Some 2000 nickels were struck with die rotation errors. Imagine flipping a coin and instead of the queen's head being perfectly aligned with the beaver's side, it's tilted or even upside down. These are highly collectible. Then there's the double die obverse, where you can see a faint doubling of the letters or portrait, a striking mistake that can add serious value. Just recently, one of these rare 2000 Canadian nickels with a die rotation error sold online for over $500. Yes, you heard that right. A coin that originally cost 5 cents selling for 100 times its value. And for coins in pristine mint state condition, especially those graded MS 65 or higher, collectors are willing to pay top dollar. Some graded examples have been valued at up to $1,000 or more depending on the type of error and overall quality. Condition matters a lot. If your 2000 nickel is still shiny, has no scratches, and hasn't been touched much over the years, it might be in what collectors call mint state. Coins graded by professional services like ICCS or PCGS are trusted in the market, and the better the grade, the higher the value. Collectors hunt for these rare versions every day, and demand is growing. Why? Because unlike newer coins, many people toss their 2000 nickels into jars or spent them without thinking twice. That means the number of high-grade or error coins in circulation is shrinking. Rarity drives value, and this coin is a perfect example of that. But beyond the market value, there's something poetic about holding a piece of history in your hand. This isn't just a coin. It's a snapshot of Canadian craftsmanship, of millennial design, and of the little surprises that make numismatics such a rewarding hobby. Every scratch, every shine, every detail tells a story. So here's what you need to do. Grab your coin jar. Look through your old change. Dig through your drawer, your glove box, your piggy bank. Check the dates carefully. If you see a 2000 nickel, pull it aside. Look closely for rotation, doubling, or any unusual features. And if it looks near perfect, consider having it graded. You might just be sitting on a tiny fortune. Coins like this remind us that even the smallest things can have the biggest stories. That 5 cents can mean 500. That a little beaver on a coin can spark a collector's passion. So the next time you hear that jingle in your pocket, don't just walk away. Take a moment, look closely, and who knows, maybe you're holding something rare. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the 2000 Canadian 5-cent coin, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more amazing coin stories, and comment below if you found any rare coins in your collection. We love hearing from you. And remember, treasure is everywhere if you know where to look. Today, we're talking about a tiny coin that could bring you a big surprise. We're digging into the story of the 2001 Canadian 5-cent coin. That's right, the humble nickel. And why some versions of this little coin are turning heads in the numismatic world. If you've ever come across a 2001 Canadian nickel and just tossed it aside thinking it's worth, well, 5 cents, you might want to go check your change again. Because this specific year holds some secrets, and we're going to uncover exactly what makes it so valuable, how to tell if you've got the right one, and what collectors are paying right now to get their hands on it. Make sure to hit that like button. Subscribe if you love treasure hunting from the comfort of your own home. And let's get started. Let's begin with a little background. The 5-cent coin in Canada, often called the nickel, has a long and fascinating history. First introduced in 1922 as a nickel-based coin, hence the name, it replaced earlier silver versions and became a standard part of Canadian currency. Over the decades, the reverse design has remained relatively consistent, famously showcasing the beaver, a symbol of Canadian industriousness and natural heritage. That image has been on the coin since 1937 and was created by George Edward Kruger Gray. But in the year 2001, something interesting happened in the world of Canadian coins. The Royal Canadian Mint, known for producing some of the most beautiful and technically advanced coins in the world, minted a standard run of 5-cent coins, or so it seemed. What most people don't know is that there were actually two different versions of the 2001 5-cent coin. That's where the value mystery begins. So what exactly are these two versions? The regular 2001 5-cent coin, minted in the traditional way, is worth only face value in circulated condition. It features Queen Elizabeth II on the obverse, her portrait facing right, and the iconic beaver design on the reverse. However, during the transition period between 2000 and 2001, a small number of 5-cent coins were struck using an older obverse die, one that had been used in 2000. This means that the portrait of the Queen on these rare 2001 nickels looks slightly different. The older die had more space between the rim and the portrait. Collectors refer to this variety as the 2001, near 2000, or 2001p variety, and it's a key date coin. This error happened because of the mint transitioning its dies, and only a limited number of coins were struck with this variation, because it's not obvious unless you're looking for it. Millions of people have likely handled these coins without knowing they might be holding something far more valuable than 5 cents. Let's talk about what drives the value up for these rare 2001 nickels. First and foremost, rarity. Only a small number of these error coins were produced, and even fewer have been discovered in high-grade condition. That means collectors are actively hunting for these coins, and they're willing to pay serious money to complete their collections. The condition of the coin is also critical. A 2001, near 2000 coin in circulated condition might fetch a modest premium, say $5 to $20 depending on wear and demand. But in uncirculated, mint state condition, values can skyrocket. AMS 65 or higher example, that's coin grading lingo for a coin with minimal flaws, has sold for over $100 and even up to $300 or more. Depending on market demand and certification. If you find one that's been professionally graded and slabbed by companies like PCGS or NGC, the value can rise even higher. And here's the kicker. Since these coins were released into general circulation, you could still find one today in a pocket of old change, a coin jar, or a family collection. Now let's get into the most important part. How can you tell if your 2001 5-cent coin is the rare one? The difference lies in the obverse design. You'll need a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe to inspect the details closely. Here's what to look for. Look at the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II. Compare it to the 2000 version if you have one. If the space between the Queen's bust and the rim is narrower, and the styling looks more like the 2000 version, congratulations, you might have the rare variety. Check for sharpness in the lettering and rim. Many of the rare ones show slightly different rim details and spacing due to the old die being used accidentally. Some varieties also show a faint ghosting effect or slight doubling in the lettering, but this is less common. If you think you have one, take it to a professional coin dealer or send it in for certification. The cost of grading is often well worth it for a coin that could be worth hundreds. So what's the market like today? As of this year, the Canadian coin collecting market is hot. More and more collectors are turning their attention to modern-era error coins and varieties, and the 2001 5-cent rare variety is one of the coins leading that trend. Recent online auctions have shown steady demand. Coins in good condition are selling for $30 to $50, ungraded. Professionally graded coins in top condition have sold for $150, $200, and even over $300. Keep in mind, though, market prices can fluctuate. If the coin becomes more widely known, demand can surge. But if more examples are discovered, it can also cool off. Still, as of now, This coin remains a sleeper hit in the world of Canadian numismatics. So what can you do? Go check your old jars, rolls of nickels, coin collections from your parents or grandparents. Look through rolls from the bank if you're a coin roll hunter. Don't overlook the simple 5-cent coins, especially from 2001. And remember, the key to finding treasure is knowing what to look for. The rare 2001 Canadian 5-cent coin is out there. It might be in your pocket right now. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just someone looking to make a lucky discovery, this is one of those modern coins that proves you don't need to search ancient treasure maps to strike it rich. Sometimes, the treasure is hiding in plain sight. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your fellow collectors or friends, and subscribe for more in-depth videos just like this. Let me know in the comments if you found any rare Canadian coins or if you're going to start checking your nickels a little more closely. Today we're diving deep into a tiny but fascinating piece of Canadian history, the 2005 Canadian 5-cent coin. Yes, that humble nickel you might just overlook every day could be worth a lot more than its face value. Some collectors are shelling out hundreds, even thousands, for certain versions of this coin. So grab your change jars and get ready to check your pockets, because by the end of this video, you might just discover you've been holding on to a small fortune. We're covering everything from the rich history of the Canadian nickel to the exact reasons why the 2005 version is gaining attention, to how much it's worth today, and how you can find out if you have one of the valuable ones. Let's jump right in. Before we zoom into the year 2005, let's take a step back and appreciate the legacy of the Canadian 5-cent coin. The Canadian nickel has been part of the country's coinage since 1858. Over the decades, it has evolved in size, material, and design, each change reflecting a chapter in Canada's history. From sterling silver nickels to the iconic beaver design introduced in 1937, the 5-cent coin has become more than just spare change. It's a symbol of Canada's identity, its natural heritage, and its royal ties. The beaver design, originally sculpted by Canadian artist G. Kruger Gray, has been featured on most nickels since 1937 and remains one of the most iconic symbols on Canadian coinage. Fast forward to 2005, a year that seems recent, but has quietly developed into a key moment in Canadian numismatics. The Royal Canadian Mint struck millions of nickels that year. But as with all coins, not all are created equal. So what makes the 2005 Canadian 5-cent coin so special? Let's break it down. In 2005, the Royal Canadian Mint used two different types of minting technology: the traditional P mark for plated steel coins, and a newer method known as no P, or the missing P variety, which lacked this identifying mark. This alone sparked early interest among collectors. But what really caught people's attention were a few rare error coins and special strike varieties that surfaced over time. Some coins from 2005 were double-struck, had die clashes, or featured rotated dies. And in the world of coin collecting, errors often mean extra value, especially when they are rare, unintentional, and visually dramatic. Add to this the rising popularity of coin collecting in recent years, fueled by social media, YouTube videos just like this one, and rising interest in tangible assets, and suddenly, a small 5-cent coin from 2005 has become a potential treasure. Let's talk about what versions of the 2005 Canadian 5-cent coin are the most valuable today. First up, the no P variety. Some 2005 nickels were minted without the P mint mark. These were struck with older dies or intended for special purposes. While not excessively rare, uncirculated examples of this variety can still sell for $5 to $15, sometimes more depending on condition. Second, the P variety. These are the most common. But if you find one in mint state condition or MS 65 and above, especially with flawless luster and no wear, collectors might pay $20, $30, or more for the right piece. Now here's where it gets exciting. Error coins and rare strikes. This is the jackpot category. Double strikes, off-center strikes, die clashes, cut errors, and coins with rotation issues can command serious money. Some verified 2005 Canadian nickels with rare striking errors have been listed or sold for $500, $1,000, or even higher in private sales or auctions. One coin with a dramatic off-center strike, where the entire design was shifted visibly off the coin's center, sold for nearly $1,500. There's also interest in proof-like versions, collector sets, and coins from uncirculated mint rolls that have been preserved perfectly. Coins still sealed in original packaging from the Royal Canadian Mint can fetch premium prices because they are untouched by circulation. Now, you're probably wondering, how do I know if my 2005 nickel is worth anything? Here's what to do. Check for the P mint mark just below the beaver. Is it there? If it's missing, you might have a no P variety. Inspect the coin for damage or unusual features. Is the image misaligned? Is it double struck? Are there strange lines, bumps, or missing parts? If yes, you could be looking at an error coin. Look at the condition. Coins with no scratches, no wear, and sharp detail are far more valuable than worn ones. Use a magnifying glass or coin loupe to inspect. Weigh your coin. The standard weight is about 3.95 grams. Anything significantly over or under that might suggest an error or planchet issue. Consider professional grading. If your coin looks unique, flawless, or strange, consider submitting it to a grading service like ICCS or PCGS. A high grade can multiply the value significantly. Let's talk money. Right now, the collector market for Canadian coins is hot. More and more people are investing in physical collectibles, and that includes coins, especially for modern Canadian coins with errors or rare strikes. Demand is growing steadily. A regular 2005 nickel might be worth 5 cents at the gas station, but to a collector looking to complete a full modern Canadian set or find specific varieties, it could be worth 10, 20, even 100 times more, or far more if it's rare. eBay listings show coins going for $30, $100, $500, and a few very rare examples being listed at over $1,000. Auction houses are seeing rising interest in modern Canadian numismatics, and coins and certified holders with documented errors are particularly in demand. This trend isn't slowing down anytime soon. Here's the bottom line. The 2005 Canadian 5-cent coin may look like a simple piece of metal, but it carries history, mystery, and in some cases, major monetary value. If you have one sitting in a drawer, in an old coin jar, or maybe even in a collection you inherited, don't overlook it. Take the time to examine it. You might just be holding on to a rare variety, a unique error, or a pristine mint condition coin that could be worth far more than 5 cents. And even if your coin isn't worth hundreds, it's still a small piece of Canadian heritage. And that alone makes it special. Thanks for watching, coin lovers. If you found this video interesting or helpful, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a video on valuable coins, rare finds, and hidden treasures. Comment below if you have a 2005 Canadian nickel. Tell us what variety you have, or if you found any interesting coins lately. I love hearing your stories. And remember, every coin tells a story. Some tell a story worth thousands. See you in the next video.